All right, how to use Doordash to make your restaurant a ton of money. Yes, it's true. Doordash is one of the biggest app gig delivery systems across the United States and Canada. And it's growing every day. Yes, and Fridays sometimes the app will crash because it gets so overloaded. Now, no matter how big or small your restaurant is, even if you have a food truck, a little tiny shack that just does snow cones, any of that, you can make some money using DoorDash. How do you get on DoorDash? Well, you can sign up and pay 30%, or somebody can nominate you. I can nominate you. I do that a lot, and the restaurants love it. It really helps small businesses get a good start. I've nominated several that became very successful on DoorDash, and I nominated a few that abused it. you know, and I guess they don't like those Benjamins because right now with the Corona thing, everybody needs money, and a lot of family restaurants are folding. And this is a great way to be low staffed and make money and still operate. So let's go over a few things to give you an idea of what you need to do in order to be successful in any of these app gig deals. Not just DoorDash, but any of them. The Uber Eats, Postmates, any of that stuff. Okay, so here we go. You need one person that handles the to-go orders. I go into some of these restaurants, and it's ridiculous. They have one person at two cash registers and 8 people wandering around with their head cut off, and half of them not doing anything. And there's a stack of food sitting on a counter with no heater or cooler, and they just kind of go, "When I get to you," It's like, why is that food sitting? You really need one specific person that handles the to-go orders, okay? That way, they just do that, and the other people do whatever. But you need one person or 2 people to concentrate on just those to-go orders out the door. To-go parking is a plus. I know one restaurant has 8 spaces for app gig. That's right, 8 spaces for delivery drivers. And they're constantly full. And they have orders from the manager that if a customer parks there, they have to go in the restaurant and look for them and ask them to remove their car because they need that space. Loading area. If you have a large order or something, that there needs to be some place that a car can park, even when your lot is full, that, the driver can come in there and they can load a large order. There's a lot of large orders right now, okay? For people traveling and going to hotels and that, or office parties and stuff, they're ordering a lot of food, okay? Curb service is wonderful. I've seen a couple restaurants where the driver doesn't even have to get out of the car. A girl comes running out when she sees the car and says, "Hi." And they give, the name on the order, and they go in there, and when it's ready, they run it out to the driver and check it with them real quick. And the driver loads it in their bags and go. That is the most effective of all. This is an awesome, awesome thing. And you really need to have one person that handles those to-go orders. I've been to, what was it? I went to a Fridays, and twice I'd been told, "We're not doing any DoorDash orders out here at curb service." It's like, excuse me? You know, yeah, they suddenly changed their mind. I found out from the manager that was absolutely wrong. So you're throwing drivers away that are going to get disgusted and not come back. And one, there's a restaurant in Pensacola that in 30 days, okay, they got started with DoorDash. In 30 days, they put a whole, like a service bar by the door that drivers just come in and go to the right and go to the service bar, and they have a heater and a cooler to hold the food. And they have a separate cash register, the whole thing. And they check the order with you to make sure it's right and everything. That is really effective. That is absolutely fantastic. Because there's a lot of money in the to-go right now. And especially when you have low occupancy in your restaurants right now, you can't imagine how many to-go orders you can be doing. A to-go cooler or heater behind the desk is really good because, as you know, food does not do well when it's sitting out. Now, that's really, really important for people's health, okay? A loader for big orders. Do you have somebody there, some extra cooks in the kitchen that'll be ready when you get a 25 meal order, okay? You do get them sometimes. Events order on these things. Anybody orders on them. That the food is ready for the driver to pick up and not prepared when the driver gets there. This is the most ignorant thing I have ever seen. I saw a store that just opened on the Doordash app. They signed on as a signature store. And they have 3 people working in there. And one is a so-called manager is just standing there. And the other 2 are young girls that are brand new, don't even know how to make the food. And they wait for the driver to come in, call the name on the order, and then they stand there and make shakes and sandwiches while you're waiting, and it takes them 25 minutes to get it together. All this stuff should have been done before the driver got there, okay? Make sure. Well, let me go back to this. There's also another one. There's a lot of them that'll do that, and they're just not very bright. Five Guys is famous for this crap, where you go in there, and it can take anywhere from 11 minutes to 25 minutes to get your food, because the food's ready and sitting on a shelf that's not heated, but they want to cook the French fries. They have a whole bunch of French fries in the heater, but they don't want to use those, because the owner wants fresh, hot French fries. Well, why is it in the heater? Why don't you just throw those away? This food should be ready for the driver to pick up. When you push the button, food ready, then it's time for the driver to pick it up. They shouldn't have to wait around so that you can figure out how to finish the order. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You're going to lose drivers. Drivers are going to vote that your store should be removed from the app, because it's a waste of time. It's both ways. You can remove a driver, we can remove your restaurant. Okay? Well, all we have to do is keep reporting it, that it's upsetting to go there, or a problem, or whatever. So I don't care whether you pay for DoorDash or not, you can be removed if you're problematic. Make sure there are condiments, plates, napkins, flatware. There's people that moved into houses that don't even have appliances or any kitchen stuff yet. There's people in hotels that do not have microwaves, and that they don't come with dishes and flatware and all that stuff. Please make sure everything's in there. Use big boxes. Don't just stuff a whole bunch of stuff in a bag where we can't tie the bag down or anything, and mix up your cold with your hot and all that. I use cold and hot coolers. And so I put my salads and my drinks and stuff in my cold coolers, and then the hot food goes in the hot coolers, okay? So don't mix it all up. Cold does not go with hot. And make sure that it's not in some chintzy little paper bag. I had one the other day that was so upsetting. I had 3 salads drop out of the bottom of a bag, because they put part of the order in little pretty little white bakery paper bags. Well, whoever packed the order had the bag sitting on a wet counter, and the bottom of the bag was wet, so I didn't make but 12 foot to the car, as I carried that separate bag, as I had a bunch of other bags loaded, and I just need to get that separate bag to the car to put in a different cold bag. And it didn't even make it to the car 12 foot. It fell out the bottom all over the ground. And I walked right back in there, and I'm like, the bottom of the bag was wet. So now they got to remake it. And the girl goes, well, I don't know what was in there. I said, well, you're welcome to check the order. She didn't. Yeah. Put the stuff, pack it properly. Put it in plastic bags. If it's a big order, use big boxes so that it stays flat and doesn't spill. Make sure you're not overfilling the trays. There's an Oriental place that they overfill the trays, and, you know, just the slightest movement will make it leak. If you put it in a car seat to keep it off the dirty floor, just that slight little tilt will make it all seep out. So when you hand the bag to the customer, it's got juice and stuff spilled all over the bottom of the bag, and then they're scared to open that mess. So don't overfill the trays with juice that's going to leak everywhere unless you decide to wrap it in kitchen saran wrap or something, and then pack it up to go, because it's going to leak. Okay? We're going to carry this in our cars. We're going to stop. We got to go. You know, that stuff is not totally flat when it sits in the car. Get a very nice to-go person that is fast and friendly. There's one place I go to, and all I need is the drink. They actually have the food ready for once. And all I need is the beverage, which is 10 foot from the person working there. It's behind a bar. And she's in the kitchen. She's over here. She's over there. And then she comes out of the back room with 100 cups all of a sudden. This is like every time I go in there. And then she's putting those away. And then she decides to get the cup. And then she goes down and rings somebody up. And then picks the cup back up again. Then goes over to this little cooler and opens it up, pulls a pitcher out, pours the drink in, and then brings me a drink with no lid. And hands me a straw, and I said, I don't have any way to carry that. Oh, okay. And so then she brings a lid. And then the next thing, she wants to get a plastic bag and tie it up in a plastic bag. I said, no, I don't need a plastic bag. I just need a lid and a straw. I have a cooler bag. And especially they take 2 or 3 drinks and tie them together like that. That's not the way you do drinks. Because the whole lot of them will fall over and spill in somebody's car. And then, let's see. And they're willing to check the order with the driver. That means they're willing to go over to make sure what the driver has on their list of menu items is the same as you have packed in the bags. Because 80% of the time, you guys are missing stuff. So get somebody that's nice that doesn't get all fried because the driver says we're missing 2 items. They need to go get those items ASAP and get them going so that the driver can leave. The driver is losing orders waiting on you because you are not ready. Okay? So get somebody that's efficient. I mean, a 12-year-old kid could do this job. Okay? Get somebody that just handles the to-go stuff and is fast and friendly and willing to check that order with that driver. Never, ever ask the driver to call and substitute items with Doordash. You call Doordash, because what happens is when the driver comes in, waits around 15 minutes, and all of a sudden you send somebody up and they go, well, we're out of fries, or we're out of chicken. Well, the driver doesn't do order changes. And what ends up happening is the driver has to contact Doordash, which takes a lifetime. And then what happens is that could take 20, 30 minutes, an hour, depending on how busy the platform is at that time. And the driver ends up getting not paid, or paid only half of what the original order was, and sent on their way. And you have wasted their time and money when they could be delivering a whole bunch of other orders instead of playing with you, because you are not ready. Okay? So you need to contact DoorDash, whether you are linked with DoorDash. You can do it on the computer, boom, 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 that fast. If not, you're going to have to call them and wait like we do. And what the DoorDash usually does is they cancel that order and start a new one. And they deal with the customer and you to get it done, not the driver. All the driver's there for is to come pick that order up and get it out of there and get it to the customer. And you make your money, okay? But do not ever ask a driver. I went to one restaurant and they're like, well, we're out of wings today, or we're out of tamales today. And it's like, well, you know, they're like, can you call the customer and ask them if they want something different? We're not supposed to. Because the order is supposed to be exactly as it's read, or they're going to go and say that they didn't get their order or they had missing items, and it affects our ratings and our pay. And we get in trouble for it. We cannot change food, okay? So make sure you have the items. If you get an order in, immediately contact DoorDash and tell them. You know, because the ones that aren't online with DoorDash are phone called, and you have their number. Okay? Trust me, I know you do, because you're dying for their phone calls. And you call the girl and tell her, look, we just ran out of chicken. And they will work the order around and get the order changed so that, you know, you could still have an order. But do it. Don't make the driver do it. It's not their job. Not my job, man. And because DoorDash will cancel an order and do a reorder before they ever change an item on an order. So, drivers cannot change an order. Do not give the order to the driver without hot bags. That's your food quality. I bring hot bags and cold bags. I don't play. If you give it to me hot from that restaurant, it's going to be smoking hot when I get to the person. And my bags will run 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours keeping it hot or cold. That's a promise. Food quality is really, really important, okay? Especially if you've got really cold weather, really hot weather, whatever. Food quality is important for health safety, okay? So if you want it the way the customer would come and eat it at your restaurant, then, you know, it needs to be traveled in hot and cold bags. And it's your right, and DoorDash, you can report a driver for not bringing hot bags. They'll send another driver out that has hot bags. That's a promise. Because every one of these drivers signs a contract, and they understand. They are supposed to have their hot bag. And if you don't have one, you go out, you buy one. And they're only $1 at the Dollar Tree or Walmart. For the El Cheapo bags, you can still rent them out. If the driver's a problem, report them. If those of you that are linked with DoorDash, you can push that button. Don't have to worry. They will never send that driver again. And if the driver is really bad, DoorDash will contact you. You can talk to them by phone, and they'll ask you what exactly happened, and you can tell them. And a lot of times that driver will get fired because they're not allowed to be a problem to a store. So you don't have to worry about that. If you have one driver that's a problem, make sure and report them. Okay? This should all be happy. Everybody makes money. And number 1, do not push the button order ready until it is ready. Do not. And for you Oriental restaurants that don't read English, you're going to need to push the button to say the order's ready so that the order will go out and people will come get it. Okay? This is really important. If you are linked to DoorDash, they have a thing there where it says food ready, and you push the button. And so a lot of times these chefs will go ahead and just push that button, and a dasher comes and the food's not ready. And the longest I ever had to wait was an hour and a half at a pizza place one time. But I think that was intentional because a lot of places hate DoorDash, and your employees are jealous of DoorDash drivers. Hey, we don't make the money you guys make delivering pizza, that's for sure. Okay? But don't ruin somebody's job because you have an attitude. And especially if you're an owner, you need to investigate to make sure that your employees are not affecting these DoorDash drivers. Okay? Doing their own little thing and things that are against policy. If you want to make those Benjamins, which we need right now, everybody does, then make sure your staff is willing to work with DoorDash and going to be nice to DoorDash people or any other app gig people so you can make your money. It's all about those Benjamins, okay? It's amazing some places I go to and they cannot have the food ready. I got stacks of it sitting on a back counter, not even under the heater lights. They dance around with the order because they hate DoorDashers. Well, if you don't like DoorDash, call DoorDash. Send them a support ticket. Say, this is my restaurant name. Please stop DoorDash orders. I don't want them. Because other people are thanking God for DoorDash right now. Yeah, all those cool people, they were suing this, that, and the other. There's some of them that are begging to have the business back. I know a restaurant in Fort Walton that changed their name just because they're begging to have it back. Yeah, and they still won't put it back on the app. So, I hope you have a great day, but I'm telling you, DoorDash can make you a ton of money. A ton. For your restaurant. And you can function on very little employees. I know that one of the fine dining houses runs on one chef and one girl, and the restaurant is closed but only doing to-goes. And so they run on minimal heat and air, and it's just 2 people running the whole restaurant. That's right. And they're pumping out that food. That's right. Okay? And they got a whole parking lot for people to park in. No problem at all, because it's empty. That's right. So, this is where your money's at. You don't have to worry about SBA, idle loans, and all that other garbage. Work. This is your money. I promise you. Now, if you link up, you're going to pay 30%. If you get somebody to nominate you, you don't pay anything. And it's really worth it. It really, really is. I mean, all I have to do is nominate you and send your menu in to corporate. And you're on in very short order. But can you have the food ready? That's the secret. Talk to you later. I hope you have a great day. May the money tree crash on your stage. Love to you. Stay corona safe.